Republicans love to pretend that they're the party of the people, but new information release shows that they are just the party of the super rich and lobbyists. Let's talk about it in today's video. Hi, I'm Mike Greiner. I'm a lifelong Democratic activist who's concerned about the direction our country is taking. If you share my concerns, maybe you could like this video and subscribe to this channel, maybe even click that little bell that will notify you when I post something new. So 2 news items today point to the fact that the Republicans are not the party of the people, as Donald Trump and his supporters love to claim, but are in fact the party of the super rich and lobbyists. Who knew? Well, the first item, and as always, I'll post links to the relevant articles down below. The first item has to do with support for climate change policy. YouGov has been tracking the opinions of Americans regarding the climate and other issues. And for the first time in the poll's history, climate change was the second highest concern of Americans, second only to healthcare. In fact, more Americans ranked climate change as their number one issue than people who ranked the economy as their number one issue. So it's a pretty significant issue at this point. Now, what's especially interesting about this poll are the responses that Republicans gave to some of the questions. For example, 59% of Republicans said that human activity contributes to climate change. What's more is between 50% and 88% of Republicans supported different policies that would address climate change, including 58% favoring regulations and tough restrictions on power plants to reduce their carbon emissions. What's more is when they were asked about considerations that elected officials should take into consideration while they're determining climate policy, 88% of them said that protecting the environment for future generations is a priority. That's a higher percentage than those who said that limiting the burden of regulations on business was a priority. So what does all this mean? This means that the rank and file Republicans, who we've been told are so opposed to any kind of government action to address climate change, actually favor action to address climate change, even some fairly aggressive action, such as higher regulation on power plants. What's more is all this talk about reducing regulation being a priority are not as high a priority, even to Republicans, as protecting the environment. So why have Republicans made such a big deal out of stopping legislation that would address climate change? Well, of course, because it would stop the super rich from continuing to exploit America's natural resources and pump more carbon into the atmosphere by burning coal and oil. The super rich and their lobbyists have got Republicans wrapped around their fingers in their effort to try to stop any effort to address this pending crisis. And in another example of lobbyists flexing their muscle when it comes to Republican legislators, the original bipartisan infrastructure bill included a provision that would have required more regulation of cryptocurrencies like Bitcoin by the IRS. This provision alone was projected to raise over $28 billion, which would have helped fund the infrastructure package. Well, what happened? Well, the cryptocurrency industry, which wants to remain essentially a wild west of financial gambling, went and lobbied the Republican members who were involved in this process. They were able to get this provision so watered down that it's virtually meaningless at this point, showing once again that Republicans are neither concerned about the deficit, nor are they concerned about catching tax cheats who might be using cryptocurrency to get around the IRS. And more than anything, their number one priority is satisfying the lobbyists and their super rich clients. We as Democratic activists need to remind people that when they claim the Republican Party stands for the people, it does not. It stands for the super rich and for the lobbyists. And these are 2 more examples we can point to the fact that they do not support the issues that average people care about. Well, if you agree with me or disagree with me or have any questions about any of these issues, please feel free to post down below. If you could give me a like and perhaps subscribe to this channel, that'd be a huge help. I'll see you in the next video. In the meantime, let's hope for continued progress. Thank you.